friends, today I'm going to show you how to start our next project, which is called What's on Your Mind. So we're going to go over how to draw a portrait, and then on your own after this video you will be filling the top of the page with all the things that you think about and all the things that are important to you. So that's the creative part where you can kind of work on your own, but for this video we're going to focus on the portrait drawing. So this is my example. It's not colored yet, but at least gives you an idea. I'm going to demonstrate onto this paper here. Okay, so to start off, to make sure that we're making our portrait big enough, what I would like you guys to do is find about halfway up on your paper and give yourself, an inch or two in, and you're going to make two little dots. I'll make mine bigger here just because I'll make mine more like lines. Okay, two little lines. Let me autofocus this for you. Okay, so that you know where the sides, the top and the sides of your head are going to end. Okay, from there, now I'm doing this with a Sharpie so that you can see what I'm doing, but you guys should absolutely be doing this in pencil because you're going to want to reshape parts of your face, and you're going to make mistakes. So please do this with a pencil. I am only doing with a Sharpie so that you can see what I'm doing. You're going to connect those two lines slowly and steadily by making a U shape. Okay, now, I've kind of learned as I've grown that, the chin, it's not a regular round U. Once you get towards the bottom, you can curve in a little sharper. That will just help you, move this down a little bit so you can see better. That will help you have it more of a face shape instead of just a regular U shape. But that is how you want to start, is a U. And you can always reshape the chin later. I'm doing Sharpie, so I'm trying to make it go as I work. Then, because this head is going to be opened up, like the top of our head is flipped up, we're going to create a small oval in here. So between these two lines, you're just going to do a slight curve down and up. And then on the other side, up and around. Okay, so normally our head would curve up more if it wasn't flipped open. So I'll show you, when we're flipping it open, it doesn't have to be super detailed because obviously this is like fiction and not super realistic with the idea. So the top of our head is just going to be like a half circle like this. Okay, and again, you can reshape it later. Put it down a little bit. Okay, so normally, just for a guideline, I'm going to throw a little line in here. Okay, the top of your head would be like here if we were to close it all the way up. So when you're figuring out where to put your features, a general rule of thumb is from the top to the bottom, your eyes are about halfway down on your head. So if you want to give yourself a little line to mark out where that halfway point would be, you can. And then from the eyes to the chin, the bottom of your nose is going to be halfway in between that space. So you can make a little line there to mark that out. Okay, this should be done very lightly because you're going to erase it later. This is just marking out where you're putting things. The mouth is going to fall between the bottom of the nose and the chin. So you can find that spot and you can mark that out. Okay, so already we have the foundations, the beginnings of our face. Okay, now when it comes to the eyes, you want to make sure you're not making them too itty bitty because everything should be in proportion. It should kind of line up with the size of our head. So I'm going to give you guys a couple more guidelines to make before we actually draw our eyes. So if you made your head about the same size as me, a good rule of thumb is to go like 1 or 2 fingers lengths for this size and just give yourself a little line to mark where the edge of the eyes are going to go. Okay, and then let's find the middle of our face and then give yourself about 2 fingers lengths there. Okay, all this planning will make sure that our eyes are the same size, and that for me honestly is one of the hardest things to do, is to make both my eyes even. Okay, so hopefully you can see those marks on camera. But now I'm going to have eyes that are about the same size, and I'm not going to have one that's way too close to the edge of my head because I kind of marked that out. Okay, I'm going to go back to this so you can see the shape of the eyes now. So this line is going to go right through what would be the middle of my eyeball. So I'm going to go inside this line and I'm going to do like a little backward C. Okay, because this is where my tear duct is. So it's a skinnier part of my eye. And then from that backward C that I just did, now I'm going to make an arc, like a rainbow shape up and down to the other side. The bottom of your eye, for most people, is not quite as round as the top. So I'm going to connect over like I did the first time for the top of my eye, but I'm not going to dip it as much. It's not going to be as curvy. It's going to be a little straighter. Okay, connect that together. So I'm going to do this on the other side before I get to details. That way I'm doing the same motions. So I'm going to go over to the inside of my eye, make that C. This time it's not backwards. It's a regular C. And then I'm doing this rainbow shape. And then on the bottom, across and connecting. So they may not be perfectly even. Mine certainly are not. Mine is in Sharpie, so I can't correct it, but you guys will have the ability to smooth out or fix anything that doesn't look quite right later. For now, you're just going to follow along with me. If you're watching and drawing this on your own, you're welcome to pause the video and make your corrections at any time. Okay, so assuming that these are nice, which I would correct if I could, but it's okay. We're going to add in the pupils now. So one mistake people make is they draw like a whole circle inside of here, which isn't very accurate. Unless your eyes are bugging wide open, your pupils are going to get cut off by your top and bottom eyelids. So you're actually doing almost like a set of parentheses inside your eye for your eyeball. Okay? You're trying to center them, but if you have them over a little bit, that's okay. You just want to kind of try and match the placement on both of them and the size on both of them. Again, it might not be perfect, but we're going to do our best. An extra detail you can add if you want your eyes to have a shine in them because they're wet. They're usually kind of shiny, is you can add in now like a little shape here. It can be like a triangle or a rectangle. I like to do it on the same side because I'm assuming that my light is coming from the same place on both my eyes. Okay. Then on the inside here, we will have our actual pupils. Okay, that's the black part where the light goes in. So start by making them small. And if they don't look right, you can always make them bigger later. All right, so there's lots of shading to be done with the eyes, but as far as drawing them out, we have most of it. One other detail that you could go through and add now if you wanted is you can thicken up this top line because we have lashes that grow heavier on our top lids. Our lash line usually will look a little thicker. Even with boys, it's not just like a girl thing to have eyelashes, but if you thicken that up, it looks a little more realistic because those lashes do read as a thicker line on top. Okay, so on to the nose. Okay, when we do our nose, a lot of people like to draw lines down, which isn't very accurate. The only reason we see the sides of our nose is from the shading, the shadow that's cast by the part that sticks out. So we're not going to draw any lines here. This is where you're just going to do shading. What we are going to do is we're going to move down, okay? And if you put your finger along the side of your nose and it goes straight up, I'm upside down, but I'm going to show you. Okay, side of your nostril lines up with the inside of your eye. So I am going to kind of do an imaginary line down. If you want to draw a real line lightly, you can. And I'm going to draw backwards C here. Same thing on this side. Backwards C here. All right. And then another thing we have is we all have the ball of our nose. Okay, so that is going to be like a little U here. And then all you do is you fill in that gap with an oval that you can color in, and that is your nostrils. So there's a lot more detail we could put in here. You could do a little slight arc here for the ball of your nose. Some people do some shading in here for where their nostrils kind of tuck into the side of their face, but that's all shading stuff that you can do later. But that's really all you need for a nose, is almost like another set of parentheses, ovals for nostrils in between, and then that little U dip right there. Okay, now finally the mouth. Now the mouth we're going to draw is the top lip and the bottom lip. A lot of people like to draw the mouth as like one big shape, but really it's two lips that come together. So this line we drew right here could serve as the line for in between our lips. So you can actually just go ahead and draw that out. Another trick to learn is that if you put your finger along the edge of your lips, and if you drew straight up, it would take you to somewhere around the middle of your eye. So that's how long that should be. And it varies from every person. Some people have wider lips, some people have narrower lips, but that's a good rule of thumb. It should come out past your nostrils to, at least a third or halfway into your eye. Our top lip has a lot more of changes in shapes, so an easy way to do it is starting with a little V in the middle because it usually dips down. And then that's going to curl over and down to both. In general, another one of those rules of thumb that can be different because everyone has their own features is that the bottom lip tends to be bigger and rounder than the bottom lip tends to be bigger and rounder than the top. So I'm going to go and I'm going to just start pulling that down. Okay, and connecting, and that's the bottom lip. Now, everybody's different. So when you're drawing this portrait of yourself, you should be thinking about your lips. You know, do you have skinny lips? Do you have fuller lips? And you can make those changes, and you can draw it out and see what you think and then change it later. And everyone's different. So this is just your general face structure, and you guys can adjust them to look more like you. You could even kind of curl that line up a little bit to give you kind of a gentle smile. And then the last thing is your eyebrows. So again, do things in pencil first. Everyone's got different eyebrows. Some people are straighter. Some people have a big arch. Mine, and I'm doing little lines. So you can draw out the shape first if you want, but I like to draw little lines. Mine go up and then kind of curl down at the very edge. Okay. And then if you pay attention, you can even feel your eyebrows. The hairs towards the outside edge of your eyebrow grow more up. And then as they move across your eye, they start to grow over, and then they'll start to grow down. So that's something you can look at sometime in the mirror. And then, you can add more or less hairs as you need to. Again, first in pencil, and then you can always go over with a colored pencil or a marker later. So that is how you draw the basics of a human face. There's a lot more details that can come with the shading, but I will do that in a separate video. So at any point you should be rewinding, fast forwarding, pausing, and going back to your trouble spots to make some corrections, and always raise your hand if you need help. Good luck.